Alright, so we're going to bring this up vertically and over. Make sure that this is straight. So we want the passing position where the legs are passed, and we're going to look at the diagram here. So we notice that this angle here is steep and the foot is passing like this. There's a bend right here. So we want to ensure that the passing position, want to make sure that this is a bit more steep like that. So we have the passing position. I want to ensure once the passing position has been set at frame 9, highlight everything and press S. Then the other key pose that we want to get would be the up position. The up position happens at frame 13, and when we look closely at the up position, we can see where this leg that was once straight is now lean. The waist will move forward and upward vertically, and this leg that is here will now be forward, and it's like she's having like she's taking a step. So the step position, this is the pose that we want to get. So that pose happens at frame 13. Go to frame 13. We want to move the waist forward. Move this foot forward. The waist would go upward a bit too, because the up position is the highest position in the walk. We want to put a little bit of roll on the foot as well. Move this forward. Foot will be pointing up. We'll go to the roll feature. Roll feet up and upward. Notice that when we roll the feet, it can change, the how the knee behaves. So bear that in mind as well. Once we're satisfied with the pose, we're going to highlight everything and press S. So what I like to do is to scrub through the animation to see the progress of the walk, and we can see that the walk is starting to take form. The final key pose that we're going to focus on is the contact pose at the end. And this unlike the first contact pose where this leg, the green leg was in front and the pink side was behind, it happens where the legs would now switch back over. And what would happen is that this leg would once again be straight. This leg that was once leaned like this will now be straight. Just like how we had the first contact pose. The waist would then drop down a bit. So it would move forward and it would go down vertically. So we're going to do the same thing for this pose. The contact pose happens at frame 17. Go to frame 17, grab the waist, move it forward, move this foot down like that. There's a little bit more space right here. Move the foot down. Make sure that this foot is straight and this foot is straight. Once we're satisfied with the pose, highlight everything and press S. So we have one step done so far. So we're going to do a few things to this lower body part here. We want to have the waist swaying or rotating vertically and horizontally. What we have so far is just a regular walk, but with a female, her waist moves from side to side and it has a tilt to it. So you will be utilizing the swinger control here to get the rotation like this, that vertical tilt, and we also be getting that horizontal tilt as well. So when we look at the reference material, I want you to notice how the waist, how it swings. So we're seeing a vertical twist on the waist here. And we have to look at the reference material carefully and see when her waist is at the maximum tilt. Now, if we look right here, this is the passing position. And we'll notice that the waist is tilting over in this direction. When the leg is forward like this, now she's in the contact position. Notice how the waist is now straight. Now I want you to look at this other leg over here. When this leg reaches the passing position, again notice that it tilts over in this direction. So from the observations we've made here, when she's in the contact pose, her waist will be straight. When she's in the passing position, her waist will be tilted. Contact, straighten, passing, it tilts to this side. So based on that observation, we'll be using the swinger control and the passing position. Remember, the passing position happens on frame 9. We'll go to frame 9, and it's very important that you try to rotate the camera like this so you can get a better handle of the control here to rotate it in that direction, because we don't want to have it at the front view and then try to rotate it, and then you see what happens? It rotates in the wrong direction because it's three-dimensional space. So we want to rotate the camera, get a better angle and rotate it like that. The foot is still in the air. We're going to still put a little tilt on it right here. And when it reaches the contact, we're not going to trouble this keyframe at 17. It's going to be straight. So at frame 13, she'll have a little tilt. Frame 9, she'll have a tilt. 5, we can see that it's straight, a bit straight here. We can put a little tilt on it. We're not going to trouble the first keyframe. So we'll see that we have a vertical tilt in that direction. What we also want to establish is that when this leg is in front and this leg is behind, the pelvis will be facing that direction. The pelvis will be facing this direction because this leg is in front and this leg is behind. So naturally the pelvis will twist in that direction. When the foot moves over to the other side, like on here on the frame 17, this foot is now in front and this foot is behind. And what will happen is that the pelvis will naturally tilt in that direction. So it will be facing that direction. So if you stand up and just observe yourself in the contact pose and you look at your zipper, you'll notice that your pelvis will naturally tilt a certain way. So we're now going to try and get that horizontal movement, and we're going to focus on frame 1 and on frame 17 in terms of tilting the pelvis. So at frame 1, I'm going to grab the swinger control here. I'm going to rotate it in that direction. So notice that the zipper is now facing that direction. And I go to frame 17, which is the other contact pose. We tilt the pelvis in that direction. Now, let us focus on the in-betweens. The principle is whenever this leg is in front and this leg is behind, the pelvis must be facing that direction. However, when we go to frame 5, notice because we've set the keyframe already, it will just rotate back. The pelvis will twist back to the center. So on frame 5, because this foot is still in front, we're going to twist the pelvis in this direction still. At frame 9, the pelvis will be straight, where we'll have the passing position here. So we're not going to trouble keyframe number 9. Keyframe 13, we're going to tilt the pelvis slightly in this direction. And frame 7, yeah, so you will have a better transitions by editing frame 5 and editing frame 13. We're going to leave frame 9 as it relates to twisting the pelvis. So let's observe and see what we have in terms of a rotation movement. So that is just the first step. This pelvis here needs to be a bit straight. So we have two types of rotation occurring right here. We have this type of rotation occurring, and we have that's we have that type of rotation occurring, and then we have another type of rotation occurring in this. So those two rotations help to create that complex movement. We're going to continue with the posing for her to continue to step all the way up to frame 33. So what we're going to do is we're going to count because we've laid down the 4 main key poses. Actually, the 5 main key poses: contact, down, passing, up, and then back into contact. So we're going to repeat the process. So the next step after this contact will be another down position. And after that, a passing position, and then up position, and then back into another contact position because she's going to make 2 steps. And we're going to use those 2 steps to make a complete loop. Now what you'll observe is that the timing is every 4 frames. So between frame 1 and 5, 5 to 9, 9 to 13, 13 to 17 is a difference of 4 frames. So the next key pose, which will be another down position, this will happen at frame 21. Another 4 frames. And then when she gets into another position, the passing position, this will happen at frame 25. Another 4 frames. Then when she gets into a up position, it will happen at frame 29. And then back into the contact position again. This will happen at frame 33. So we're going to lay down these other key poses in the software. So we're going to go to frame 21 and we're going to pose the down position using the same principle that we've established. We're going to pose the down position at frame 21.